From The National, this is Trending Middle East. I'm Yasmin Al-Taji. It's Friday, July 25th. Here are today's headlines. Israel's government has called for the annexation of the occupied West Bank. The Knesset approved a motion calling for the imposition of, quote, Israeli sovereignty, unquote, over the West Bank. Arab and Islamic countries, including the UAE, have condemned the move. In a joint statement, several countries called it, quote, a flagrant and unacceptable violation of international law and a flagrant violation of relevant Security Council resolutions, unquote. The non-binding vote in Israel's parliament was backed by members of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's right-wing coalition, as well as some opposition politicians. It's widely viewed in Israel as symbolic, but it cements the opposition in the country to a two-state solution. That's the diplomatic route backed by most of the international community as a road to peace.
The bill, first and foremost, is a statement to Palestinians and to the international community that annexation is the stated goal of Israel.
The National's Thomas Helm reports from Jerusalem.
I spoke to one Palestinian politician who said that taken alongside concrete measures being taken in the West Bank by Israeli forces and settlers, this bill is yet another step in the direction of annexation.
The Knesset's decision comes as security in the West Bank deteriorates. There's been a rise in widespread Israeli army operations, militant attacks, settler violence, and land grabs in the territory.
Palestinians are not particularly surprised by this, given the reality on the ground, whether it's in the West Bank or Gaza. But it's more of a statement, perhaps, therefore, to Israel's international allies, in particular European states, that continue to say publicly that the two-state solution is their preferred route towards ending the Israel-Palestine conflict. So critics of the bill say that this is far from only symbolic if you look at it in its wider context of consistent Israeli actions against the feasibility of a Palestinian state in the West Bank. If you view the bill as yet another sign that Israeli lawmakers, not just from the government, but from the opposition as well, that this is a statement from all of them of defiance in the face of the international community, which still wants the two-state solution and the Palestinian state as a goal to work towards.
10 people have been killed in forest fires in Turkey as of Thursday evening as blazes broke out around the country as temperatures soar. At least 9 forest fires broke out across Turkey on Wednesday. Agriculture and Forestry Minister Ibrahim Yumakli warned that high temperatures, strong winds, and low humidity forecast in the coming days increase the risk of more fires. The National's Lizzie Porter is here with more from Istanbul.
This is a huge problem in Turkey every summer, but rising temperatures and very dry air have made this even worse.
5 forestry workers and 5 search and rescue volunteers were killed after becoming trapped when, quote, a sudden change in winds fanned the flames towards them, unquote, during a forest fire in western Turkey.
Now, Turkey does have firefighting equipment, planes to try and put out such fires, but this is a huge country and the expanses are so vast that sometimes they simply overcome, especially given that temperatures are so high and the ground is very dry. There has not been rain.
This is the second time in less than a month that people have been killed in forest fires that have raged for days in Turkey. 2 people were killed this month by blazes that displaced at least 50,000 and damaged or destroyed about 200 homes.
Turkish authorities have said that there is an ongoing risk of fires in the coming days because of higher than average temperatures and high winds and very dry air. There's been little rain, which means that the risk of fires being started and spreading is higher. The forest fires are really one element of how higher temperatures are affecting this country and countries across southeastern Europe. Authorities in the EU have said that they've recorded hundreds more forest fires in this year compared to the comparable period last year. So this is an ongoing and really, really frightening risk for hundreds of thousands, millions of people who live across these vulnerable areas.
Several people have been killed and dozens injured in a huge explosion in Syria, where local TV reports said the blast occurred at an ammunition depot. Emergencies Minister Ra'ed al-Saleh said the cause was unknown as of Thursday. Syria's health ministry gave a preliminary toll of 4 people killed and 116 injured, according to Syrian state news agency Sana. State-owned Akhbariya TV gave a figure of 6 people killed. Meanwhile, further south, the aftermath of violence in Sueda continues to unfold. Clashes inside Sueda have stopped, but sporadic violence continues at the outskirts, where government forces have redeployed and sealed off access. Armed tribesmen also remain deployed on the outskirts of Sueda. Thousands had responded last week to a call to arms against Druze factions in the city. This week, convoys carried people fleeing the area, including Christian and Druze families. That's all for this morning's headlines. You can get more on these stories and follow our live coverage of these events and more at our site. Yasmin Al-Taji, The National.